day. Again, hopefully you guys can keep your cameras on. The GBM will be recorded, so if you do mind that, then you can keep your camera on. That's camera off, that's fine. So as I mentioned, the exec board is just going to quickly go around and introduce ourselves. My name is Anthony. I'm a senior and I'm president of PLHS.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. I'm also a senior, and I'm the vice president of Pre-Legal Honor Society.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michaela, and I am the treasurer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna, and I am the secretary.
Sorry about that. All right, so kind of what we touched on our first GBM, some benefits included in your membership in being in PLHS is, of course, networking with our speakers, as well as other fellow members who are pre-law, advice on applying to law school, which is applicable whether you are a freshman or in your last year of undergrad, internship and involvement opportunities, and then especially for seniors in either their last semester or their second to last semester graduation cohorts, which you can talk to Michaela about. And of course, the dues that you pay for being a PLHS member include all the wonderful activities we have throughout the semester. And for being a part of a pre-law organization, you are open to several benefits with Test Masters, which is an LSAT prep course. So maybe you're a freshman who hasn't heard about the LSAT, a sophomore who's starting to hear more about it, or a junior starting to study. You might be looking at prep courses and resources in order to ready yourself for the exam, and Test Masters is one of those. They're wonderful. We've worked with them for several years now, and they admire PLHS and all of our amazing members. So just for being an active member with PLHS, you can get a discount for any of their LSAT courses, whether it's an in-person, via Zoom, or asynchronous. And that's very helpful considering that it is expensive to study for the LSAT when you're using these different types of resources. And also, another plus of being part of PLHS and having that partnership with Test Masters is that every semester there's a scholarship. So let's say you go to all of our amazing events hosted by our directors and you rack up those points and you're the most active member by the end of the semester. This scholarship basically covers any of these 3 courses I listed for free. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket, saves you hundreds of dollars, and it's a really good thing to have, especially if you're starting to prepare for the LSAT. And another thing I did want to mention is that Test Masters reached out to us and said that they're hosting a workshop with multiple schools on September 17th at 6. Again, this is a wonderful opportunity to go and check it out. Their speaker or their Test Masters instructor, Anthony, is amazing. He got his JD from GW. He got a 179 in the LSAT. He's come to some of our events in the past, and he's amazing when it comes to helping others understand the LSAT and really break it down. So I highly recommend you guys check that out. We will be sending the link in our GroupMe as well as posting on social media in the future.
So now I'll go over the membership requirements. Everyone must pay their dues by September 25th, which is our 3rd GBM. New members pay $35, and each PLHS member after the first semester only pays $20. If you are a returning member and you were inactive the semester prior, then you will have to pay $25. You can pay either through our Venmo or Zelle. Our Venmo is at UFPLHS 2024-25, and our Zelle is at ufprelegal@gmail.com. On the next slide, we will show the QR codes for those. And also, to be an active member, directors need to earn 60 points, members should earn 40 points, and you must attend at least 3 GBMs to get active membership. So here are the QR codes for both the Venmo and Zelle. And then, as Anthony mentioned, if you are graduating this semester, please contact me for graduation codes, and I will send out a link in the chat so you can fill out a form about that.
So throughout the semester, like Michaela said, you'll need to have 40 points if you're a member and 60 points if you're a director to stay active. And the way you do that is by attending our events. So all general body meetings will be 5 points each. So you'll be earning 5 points tonight. In-person director events will be 4 points. Zoom director events will be 2 points. Special events, which are our retreats, our banquets, and Law in the Swamp, will be 5 points. And the point spreadsheet can be found on our Facebook. It's pinned there. And I also did pin it to our group me today. And if you have any questions about the point spreadsheet, you can contact me. My email is on the slide for you, or you can message me and group me with any other questions that you guys may have about your points. Also, if you want to stay updated with all the events that we're putting on this semester, you should add our calendar to your calendar because we have a lot of great events, as you can see, coming up for the rest of the month. So the way you do that is you're going to hit the little plus in your Google Calendar where it says other calendars, and you'll type in this email, which is ufprelegal@gmail.com, and it will add our PLHS calendar to yours so that you can see what's happening.
All right, and this is our meeting schedule for this upcoming semester. We have obviously today and our info session that has passed, as well as our third GBM, which is going to be David Margulies as the speaker. He is a criminal prosecutor for Alachua County, as well as our fourth GBM, Anu Way, and she is an environmental attorney for Bracewell. And then our fifth GBM is going to be Stefan Malkoon, who is an entertainment lawyer for Manet Law Firm in California, as well as November 6th, which is going to be our sixth GBM, which is Rachel Gezersay, who is a plaintiff attorney, as well as our test masters representative, who will come and speak with us, as Anthony mentioned before.
If you want to keep up with us on social media, we have all of them listed here. So our Instagram is at UFPLHS. If you're looking for more information, a little bit of a deeper dive into kind of everything that we're sharing with you guys right now, you can visit our website, which is ufplhs.com. Our Facebook group is University of Florida Pre-Legal Honor Society. And our group me link is going to be that QR code that's at the top right of your screen. And then if you want to follow us on Instagram as well, you can scan that QR code that's underneath it.
And now for director announcements, we're going to start with community service.
Hi guys. My name is Maya Behar. I'm one of your community service directors, and this month we have planned a campus cleanup. It's gonna be on September 15th from 11 to 1, and it's a nice way to meet people, PLHS members, and make some new friends while making our campus look nice. So yeah, let us know. I'm gonna send out a link to the Google Forms now in the chat. And I sent it a couple minutes ago in the group me. So if you guys want to go, make sure to fill that out, and we'll see you there.
Hi everyone, my name's Susan and I'm also one of your community service directors. So for our other event this month, we're going to be collaborating with Giving Garden. It's a nonprofit here in Gainesville, and they basically grow food, vegetables, fruits to give to people suffering from food insecurity. So PLHS members are going to go to their actual garden location. So we're going to all touch grass. We're all going to be outside. It's a lot of fun. And we're going to help them clean out their shed and do anything else that they need to help that community. So we'll send out like a carpool link in the future to make sure everyone has a ride there. But if you're interested, go ahead and check out the PLHS Google Calendar, and the event's already uploaded. So reach out to us about any questions about either one of the events.
That sounds exciting. Thank you, community service. And now for diversity.
Hi, so tomorrow we're going to be having a cultural speed friending event with donuts at 3:30 in the plaza. And on September 17th, we're going to be having a Hispanic Heritage Month event at 3:30. So make sure you stay tuned for that and check on the Google Calendar and Instagram. So please come. It'll be really fun.
Give me these back. Oh, all right, and now fundraising.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for everyone who came to the Blaze fundraiser. It was a good early fundraiser and it was great seeing a lot of familiar faces. Now I'm going to pass it to Arthur to talk about our next fundraiser for September.
Hello everyone, just to remind you, today I posted earlier the headshot fundraiser that's going to be happening this upcoming Sunday and next week Wednesday. So perfect opportunity for those of you who need a new professional headshot or don't have a professional headshot, especially since Career Week is the week after. So check us out outside Hefner Hall, the Gator Globe, on upcoming Sunday and next week Wednesday.
Fundraising, and now for internal affairs.
Hey guys, our first event was actually this morning, so just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came out. It was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to keep seeing people throughout the semester.
Yeah, and then I'm Alexi, I'm the other co-director. Our next event is going to be Bowling in the Rights Union on the 18th, so just keep an eye on the group me for more information about that.
Thank you, and mental health and wellness.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm one of the mental health and wellness directors. So this month, Wednesday, the 25th, we're going to be having a cycling class at Student Rec from 3:30 to 4:15, and we'll send out like a sign-up form because there are just limited spots.
And then also this week, Thursday, September 12th, we're having a informational Zoom on mental health and wellness resources on campus. So definitely come out to that too.
Nice. I love to see that mental and physical health balance. All right, now on to law related.
Hey guys, I'm Gabby, one of your co-directors for Law Related, and you guys were super excited with the idea of doing an info session. You gave me a bunch of suggestions with all different schools, and we actually have a hybrid Emory Law info session for those interested. And if you come, obviously it's more points in person. It's at Matherly 0113 starting at 6 p.m. And if you can't, that's no big deal because we also have a Zoom option, obviously for less points, but show up, it's going to be great. And I'm going to hand it off to my co-director, Riley.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm the other law-related director, and we actually have another law school info session scheduled for October 1st with the University of Miami Law School. It's at 6 p.m. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes open for more info on the group me.
All right, thank you. Now mentor-mentee.
Hi, my name is Madison. I'm one of your co-directors for Mentor Mentee. We wanted to thank everyone for coming out to the Real Goals Development workshop last week. Our next meeting for Mentor Mentee will be on September 19th from 5 to 6 p.m. and will involve career mapping alongside your mentor. During this time, we will explore how to achieve the goals that we laid out in our first meeting, focusing on those real goals and their development. Thanks.
All right, now mock trial.
So first, we would just like to thank everyone for trying out this past week. We had tryouts for our competitive team. We finalized who's on the competitive team, and we will be having our first practice tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the law school for both our in-house and competitive programs. So we're super excited for that. Hopefully we'll see you all there. It is our first meeting, so you're more than welcome to come and see what we're about with the in-house program. We'll put the details in the group me for you to check out.
Thank you, mock trial. Now we'll move on to public relations.
Hi, I'm Neelam. I'm one of your co-directors. As fundraising mentioned, we're teaming up to give you guys a headshot fundraiser Sunday, the 15th and Wednesday, the 18th. So keep an eye on our Instagram for updates on that, just in case we have to change locations because of weather. Also, please keep an eye out on both of our Instagrams. Tomorrow, PLHS Mock will be announcing their competitive team. So keep an eye on that and feel free to like give us some comments whenever we post. Thank you.
Special events.
Hey guys, it's Jane Lee with our special events announcement. We're actually going to be hosting our fall retreat in about like a week and a half. It's going to be on September 22nd, and it's going to be in front of the Rights Union lawn, kind of like where the blue and orange swing benches are. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. It's going to be from 11 to 1. We're going to have some pretty fun games to kind of encourage some community and connection between members, as well as some fun prizes and pretty great food. And just as a reminder, if you haven't already, please make sure to fill out the form. We'll send it out in the group me again, in the Zoom, but fill it out just so we can kind of get a head count of how many people are coming. If you guys have any specific food restrictions or interests, try to fill that out by September 19th. And we look forward to seeing you guys there.
If everything that Jean Lee just said isn't enough to get you all to come out, I have an extra little piece of motivation for everyone. For one of the games that we have planned, we're actually going to be playing class against class. So that means like freshmen versus sophomores versus juniors versus seniors. So it's going to be really fun. And then for that specific game, the prize is going to be 1 extra participation point. So whoever wins that game, like if it's a junior, they win a point for all the juniors who attend the retreat. So that's a really big motivation. Whoever wins, like whichever grade wins, would actually get 6 points total for the retreat instead of just 5. So even more than a GBM, but there's going to be free food and games. So definitely come out. Last thing is also whoever has like the most members in attendance, like whichever grade, is going to get an extra player for that game. So I hope that motivates you guys to come out. Right now, the seniors are winning by a lot. And I think we definitely have a chance. We have a lot of freshmen. So if you guys come out, you're going to get that extra player and hopefully win that extra point. Just fill out that attendance and like information form that we sent out in the chat. That way we can kind of know how much food to get for everyone. See you all there.
All right, and without further ado, I am honored to announce our guest speakers for this week. It is, I don't know if you all have ever heard of it, but it's a local organization, Peaceful Paths. Their Injunction team is with us today. Brittani, Melvin, Alex Bernier, and Laura Levin are all here. Peaceful Paths is the certified domestic violence center that serves survivors of domestic violence in Alachua, Bradford, and Union counties. Ms. Melvin as the Director of Legal Services and Mr. Bernier as a staff attorney assists survivors of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual violence, and stalking. Miss Levin works full-time at Peaceful Paths on the Injunctions for Protections team with Alex and Brittani as their paralegal. She is also currently a 2L at Seattle U School of Law in their Flex JD program. So I'm going to hand it over to them without a further ado. Thank you.
Hi, I'll go first. Good evening, you guys. My name is Brittani Melvin. As Megan said, I'm the Director of Legal Services at Peaceful Paths. I am moving into my 8th year of practice, I believe. I've been at Peaceful Paths since 2018. Before that, I worked with the Department of Children and Families in their Children's Legal Services CLS program. And that's where I kind of cut my teeth in the law. It's a great place to learn how to practice. It was a great experience for me, and it was a stepping stone into this position, which I am enjoying immensely at this point.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. I have been with the in-house legal team at Peaceful Paths almost as long as Brittani, practicing not quite as long. And I am a double gator. So I was where you all are not too long ago. I graduated from UF undergrad in 2014 and then UF Law in 2017. I spent a year in private practice at a civil defense firm. And after that, I've been with Peaceful Paths ever since, about the past 6 years.
And Laura is in the chat because she is currently unavailable, but we are going to turn it over to a little bit of Q&A.
Megan,
Can you hear me? I can actually speak.
Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. If you could elaborate and give us a little bit of advice and your past experiences, that'd be great, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was able to get on Zoom at my daughter's gymnastics practice. So I am the paralegal. I've worked with Brittany and Alex. I've been doing it for I think about 6 years, a little under. Brittany and Alex started at the same time, and then I've been at Peaceful Paths for 2 more years prior to that. And I, like Megan said, I am in my 2L year at a law school, which is a flex program, so I can work full time. And also I have children, so kind of balancing a lot of things at the moment. I was a Gator. I graduated from UF in 2007, so definitely love you guys, Gators. I think that's about it. We're here to answer questions. I always wanted to become a lawyer, and the reason that I decided to go to law school is because Brittany and Alex are my inspiration, and they're also wonderful mentors.
Thank you, guys. I'll start off the questions. Laura, if you could possibly elaborate a little bit on your application process to law school and how it went for you and some of the challenges and things that you faced going through it.
I think my biggest challenge, honestly, was I knew that I applied to UF Law. I got into UF Law, but I also knew that it wasn't what I needed because like I said, I need to work full time and I also have children. So UF Law wasn't kind of like in my scope. So the application process was kind of difficult for me because I needed to find a flex program that would allow me to go to school part-time, but also be employed. And the program that I'm in is a night program. So I am working all day, have children, and then I have classes 3 nights a week that start at 9 p.m. And my class tonight ends at almost 11. So it's a lot, but it's worth it. So my application process was a little bit different because I was very limited to the programs that I could apply to. I was told by both of my mentors, Alex and Brittany, to not stress too much about your LSAT. Colleges are really going to be looking at your letters of recommendation and your personal essays, whichever essays that they want. They want to know your experience. They want to know why you want to go to law school. So just be honest. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just be as honest as you can. They're looking for very diverse people, people with passion. So don't be intimidated by the application process and just go for it. Apply as many schools as you want.
How many schools by chance did you apply to, Laura?
Besides UF, I only applied to 3 other schools because at the time there were only 3 other flex programs that are ADA accredited, but now there's, I think, like 10 or more.
And I'll just say the way Laura balances and juggles everything that she does is what makes her an inspiration.
All right, Susan has a question. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. My question's actually for Miss Melvin. I noticed that you said you worked at the Children Legal Services, and I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about that experience and what being a lawyer for that organization kind of looks like on the day-to-day.
Oh, sure. I think I was joking with Alex about that experience a couple of days ago. I was a baby lawyer. That was my first job. I walked across the stage past the bar and got that job. And because it's such a fast-paced environment, they don't have the time to hold your hand like they probably would at a big law firm where you won't see the courtroom for quite a while after you start practicing, and a lot of it is writing. When I worked at CLS, I think I had like a period of adjustment, I guess is what they were calling it. I had maybe 30 cases that I was balancing at that time. And it was probably for give or take the better part of a month that I had that. And then I got my full caseload, which was about 75 cases. That is a very fast-paced environment in terms of the workload, but the cases move very slowly. So in terms of what type of experience I got, I was making decisions, legal analysis on cases with the child protective investigators. I was attending mediations. I was drafting petitions, dependency, shelter, and termination of parental rights. I was also having trials. I was having adjudication trials, TPR, as well as dependency. I was appearing in front of the court for judicial reviews. I mean, I ran the gamut essentially. And I always say that that was such a great place to cut my teeth as an attorney because I had a great group of people that I was working with there. And most of the people I know who start there have that experience because everybody genuinely wants you to do well. But it's also really what you make it. So if you want that, they will give it to you because it's not enough people and it's a lot of work. So I got to do pretty much everything.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, and Drew has a question.
Yeah, hi. Thank you guys all for coming. My question's more for Alex. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your transition from private practice in a civil defense firm to an organization like Peaceful Paths and kind of like, I know there's obviously a lot of differences, but what like the biggest differences were and like what you like best about each.
Sure. I mean, the biggest difference, just on a practical level, is probably the underlying, motivation for doing the work. At the end of the day, a law firm is a business, and so there's a profit incentive, and that appealed to a lot of people. It wasn't necessarily what appealed to me. We are in sort of what you would call public interest law. We work for a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so we do not bill our clients. That is the biggest difference. That is what keeps the lights on. That's what makes the wheels turn in the world of a law firm, and not so much for us. We're funded by grant funding from state and federal sources as well as private donations, and so our clients never see a bill. We do work for them. Not on a pro bono basis, because obviously we do receive a salary, but it's a lot more rewarding for me. I'm a lot happier doing this work, and it's probably not the majority of the experience for the majority of law graduates. The majority of law graduates probably will wind up at a firm of some sort, but for the right person, it's an incredible job to have.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Madison has a question.
Hi, I have a question for Brittany. Can you talk a little bit more about how earning a master's before you got your JD better prepared you for the workload of law school?
Sure. I got my master's degree because when I was in undergrad and when I was a freshman, I was certain that I wanted to be a lawyer. I was certain that law school was my path. By the time my senior year rolled around, I kind of moved away from that a little bit, and I thought that I wanted to be a PhD. I love statistics, and so that was where I was moving. But I wasn't quite ready to leave the world of the law alone entirely, which is how I ended up with the criminal justice. And I told myself, I think in the back of my mind, I could be a prosecutor with the master's in criminal justice. And that was kind of like where I was moving towards the end of my master's program. And then I got offered a scholarship to go to law school. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do this for sure. And that's basically how that happened.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. And I think Gabriella has a question.
Yes, hi. This is actually for all of you guys. How could pre-law students or even post-grad students get involved with organizations like Peaceful Paths? And do you have any advice for someone who's looking to work in the nonprofit area?
I do. I actually help coordinate the internship program here at Peaceful Paths as well. I do that with the Director of Outreach Services. And it's a process that all you have to do is apply there. If you send an email either to myself, I can get it to the proper people. with your resume and your letter of interest. It's a very quick interview process with either myself or the director of outreach services. And the commitment is a 2-semester commitment because we ask that you go through the core comp program as well, which is just a program where you're kind of given the basics of domestic violence and the services that we provide here at Peaceful Paths. And that program is just a 3-day program. I think you can finish it over the course of a weekend. And they have them online as well. So there's their plus. And then you work with the director of outreach services, and you can float between our program, the education and youth program, the director of marketing and fundraising. All the programs are intern friendly, so we kind of let them float around as they please.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And I'll give a piece of general advice to pre-law students that I also say to law students, and that's go watch court. Courthouses are public buildings. Most hearings and trials are public proceedings. You can just go in and watch, and you will learn so much just by seeing what it looks like in real life. And a lot of times the judges are thrilled to see students taking an interest and wanting to just observe and see what it's all about.
I definitely second that.
Thank you. That's very helpful. And I'm sure we can also put the email in the chat for students interested if that's something that you guys would want to do.
Yeah, I can put their emails in the chat if anyone wants to contact them regarding Peaceful Paths or anything like that. Oh, Brittany just put hers in the chat, so you can contact her if you have any interest or any further questions, as well as Laura and Alex. I can put them in there as well.
Oh, perfect. They're doing it.
Thank you guys. All right. And then, yeah, I definitely also second the courtroom thing. They're very accessible too. They're in downtown. So if you know where downtown Gainesville is, very accessible if you ever want to go see a courtroom proceeding. All right. And I think Jane Lee had her hand up next.
Yeah, hi, my question was actually for Laura. I wanted to ask, since Alex had mentioned that you were admirable in the way that you handle kind of your workload and just organizing, I wanted to find out if you had any advice for any non-traditional law students or maybe those considering a later transition into law in relation to like the balance between work and studies and personal life while pursuing, Flex JD.
That's a really good question. And that's why, honestly, going and talking to the different law schools, seeing what their what their program is about. One of the most inspiring things that I felt was the first time that I attended a Zoom with Seattle Law and the Flex program. And one of the most important things that one of the deans said was, you guys are law students here, and that's really great, but you're also parents, you also have jobs, you also have a lot of stuff going on in your life, and law school's hard. It's also important, that's why you're here, but you should prioritize not law school, you should prioritize your family, your job. That's what comes first. And just know that when you are taking tests, when you are studying and doing the things that you need to do as a law student, that you just do the best that you can do with all the other things that you have going on. So you hold yourself to your highest standard and don't compare yourself to others. That's the best advice I can give you. And to do that, I would suggest just learning about the different law schools, because all different law schools are going to have different standards for their students.
Thank you.
All right. And I think Mariana has a question next.
Yeah, I actually had 2 questions, so I think I'll just ask them back to back, and whoever wants to answer, that would be great. My first one was just that I want to thank you guys for the work that you do. Like, it really sounds so amazing. But with that, I know that I've talked to like lawyers in juvenile law, and they say it does like take a toll after a while because you're hearing some difficult cases and you're hearing people's stories, and hearing it every day is not the easiest. So I wanted to ask what you all do to kind of like combat that, or like if there's something you do after work that kind of takes your mind off of it, or something you tell yourself, because considering like types of laws that like do have difficult cases, that's something I'm a little like worried about. And then my follow-up question is just if you could take me like on your like day, like what you do in a typical day, I would appreciate that as well.
Brittany, you go, you're still in the office.
So the first thing I can tell you is not be in the office at 7 o'clock at night. Okay. That's the first thing. But I can run you through my day first. Most of the time, I like to keep my day as structured as I can because we do work in this fast-paced environment where clients walk in, clients call, people have questions. We sometimes consult with the other advocates in the office about a client that they've had that hasn't yet come to us. Prepare for interruptions, but be as strict to your schedule as you can. There will always be interruptions, and no matter what area of the law you go into. So my day is typically emails are like the bane of my existence. There are hundreds of them that come in. I like to keep my inbox low. So in the morning, I usually spend at least 45 minutes to an hour keeping emails low, responding to emails, sending emails. In the afternoon, because most of my clients work during the day, I usually kind of try to reach them, start petitions, follow up for court, those types of things. In between emails and calling clients, I also have meetings from time to time. There are interns that are here already. A lot of them have questions. They want to know what's going on. Sometimes they pop in. Those are the interruptions I was talking about. Those things happen. But that's actually my favorite part of the day because they ask such intuitive questions and they really genuinely want to learn. So I love talking to them, and whatever I can share with them, I always share. The end of my day is usually when I start wrapping things up, trying to get things filed for court that need to be filed. Putting in my notes, that's another thing. Do not ever get behind on notes. You'll find that notes are the end all and be all. And if you get behind, you will never catch up. Laura knows this. So that's the other thing. But to address your question about the serious nature of the work-life balance is important. I'm here because I'm actually in the middle of a move and my house has boxes all over it. And I didn't want you guys to see the boxes. That's why I'm here. So probably not giving too much stress and too much pressure on yourself about what you're not getting done. And you are only one person. If you're doing your best for your clients, that is literally all you can do, and remind yourself of that. Also try really hard not to take this home. Some days I fail at that miserably. Some days I succeed really well. So I also give yourself grace. This is just being a lawyer itself is hard. And this work in particular adds an extra, area of difficulty to it. So give yourself grace as well. And if you need a break, take that break. Give it to yourself. That's also a good thing about working here. We have a very good team. We rely on each other. We depend on each other. And if we need that time, we need that time.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. The emotional aspect is not really something that you're going to learn in class. And it's the type of work that we do is not for everyone. Some people would probably much rather be working in something more cerebral and technical, like intellectual property law, where they're not dealing with that emotional aspect with people's problems. I would much rather be doing something that I feel is meaningful and fulfilling, even if it is draining, even if it is something that, I'm going to think about later that night that might keep me from sleeping. The good for that outweighs the bad. So it depends on the type of person you are. I don't necessarily think that there's something that can be instructed. You have to find what you want, what works for you, and not everything is going to be the same for everyone.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful, both Alex and Brittany. And I believe Arthur had a question next.
Hi, good evening. My question kind of goes back to more of like switching or like deciding what you're going to do back in law school or even like later. I know you guys had talked a bit about going for a master's versus uh, the other example being going for the JD Flex later. I'm just curious. You guys talked about, of course, switching to that, but like how long or like how detailed do you really like think about those decisions? Because obviously in undergrad, we're always told that we're welcome to switch our major or anything like that, that we still have a lot of time. I'm just curious, like how much detail about more went into your like switching of career paths or more the transition period.
I'll say at least, thankfully, you don't have majors in law school. You don't specialize. You get a Juris Doctor, and if you find yourself in a certain lane, you can follow that, or you can decide that that's not what you want. You could try exploring something else. I would definitely recommend taking a variety of classes when you get that opportunity in your second and third years to take a lot of very electives, and you might be surprised at what you find really piques your interest.
I definitely agree with Alex on that one. But to me making the transition from my master's program into law school, I wasn't really happy with, I was a TA as a master's student, and I wasn't really happy with teaching the way that I thought I would be. And like I said, law was always there for me. I knew that it would have some aspect to the work that I was going to end up doing in the long run. And when I got the scholarship to go to law school, I just jumped at it. It was an opportunity, and I didn't know what I wanted to do otherwise, and I enjoyed it.
I would agree with what both Brittany and Alex said. We all have very different stories to the start of our law school careers. I wanted to be a lawyer from the time I was very young, but graduating UF with my bachelor's degree and a 4-year-old definitely kind of skewed my life in a direction that I didn't think it would. So law school was probably not for me for my whole life. And then the path just led me to working with Brittany and Alex, and I was like, I know that I can do this. I love what they do. I want to do more. And that's the best way to be able to do more, especially for survivors, is to go to law school. So I jumped in and I did it. But in terms of like Alex said, in undergrad, you have to choose a path. You can switch it up, but you kind of like, there's an end goal. With law school, what I've really learned is that going into it, there have been times where I'm like, oh, I think I actually want to do that instead of what I wanted to do last semester. So just being really open-minded and don't go into it with this idea of like, I definitely want to be a litigator, or I definitely want to work in corporate law, or I want to work in nonprofit. Just being open, and like Alex said, you don't have to decide when you're in law school. And then additionally, my best advice is for you is to, while you're in undergrad, go get internships, go volunteer at different law firms, come check out what we're like at Peaceful Pass, because a lot of times we've had interns that are like, I want to do what you guys are doing. And I've had an intern that was like, you're doing amazing work, but there's no way I could do this. And so it's an experience by going and volunteering at different firms and different types of legal like fields, you'll have a better idea of what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I agree with what Alex and Laura have said so far. And I think that Alex dropped the best nugget on you, which was to take as many classes that interest you as you can while you're in law school. I know that you're kind of steered away from that while you're in undergrad and even in the master's program, because these are the classes that you have to take to fit the curriculum. But in law school, there are so many classes that you might have a little interest in, or you might not know anything about, and you're like, oh, I'll take this class and it'll be the best one you've taken. When I took Florida dependency law in law school, that changed my life. That's how I got the job with Children's Legal Services. It led right into a job.
Thank you again.
All right, now Brianna had a question.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. My question is, it kind of in a way piggybacks off of Arthur's question, but it's geared toward Brittany. So I'm kind of in the same position where I'm in my senior year and I'm considering, a master's or, getting my JD or both, because I had an internship with an advertising agency over the summer and really fell in love with public relations. So I was kind of wondering when you were in that situation, besides just not liking what you were doing, when you were a TA and like getting that full, that scholarship, what other kind of decisions helped you really decide like law school is still the path, even though, you were kind of deciding between two things?
Law school, like I said before, it was always there for me. It was something that I knew that if I didn't do it in my 20s, I could do it in my 30s, even though I ultimately ended up doing it in my 20s. I knew that I could do it. It would be there. At the time, a lot of the people that I knew that were lawyers were second career attorneys. And so it didn't seem like something that I really needed to rush into. But again, like I said, when I got the scholarship, it kind of just felt like the right time. And I did not see myself teaching at the undergrad level for the rest of my life. Like I did not see me doing the tenure track and all of that. And because I couldn't see myself in that path, I kind of went back to law, and I realized that all of the work that I had done, even in undergrad, had law aspects to it. And I felt like I owed it to myself to just do that for myself, really.
Thank you.
Anecdotally, my experience at least, all of the second career students in my class were all the highest performing students because they had real world experience. So don't be afraid of being a second career later in life sort of law student.
True, very true.
Thank you.
All right, and Madison.
I'm sorry, and doing the dual program that you mentioned before is a great option as well, because you don't have to tie yourself down. It goes back into what Alex was saying before, that what I think is part of the reason why I ended up getting the master's degree is because I didn't know that once you have the law degree, cliche as it sounds, it's your oyster. I mean, it opens so many doors for you and you can do so many different things. Aside from this work that I'm doing currently, I mean, I'm involved in the community and I've done and worked in other places, and it's because of the JD. Like, it's opened a lot of different doors for different interests and hobbies that I have, really, that have led to career paths, or potential ones anyway.
Thank you so much. And Madison has a question, I believe, next.
Hi, my question's for Alex. I wanted to know a little bit more about how your participation in the Alachua County Domestic Violence Task Force has better equipped you to tackle your career in peaceful paths.
Sure. And all of us are on that task force. We participate. Right now, I'm the chair of the civil and criminal subcommittee that we have. And what that really is sort of bridging the divide between agency partners. You know, we operate in civil law, or we're in civil court on behalf of our clients, but oftentimes our clients have corresponding criminal cases. You know, their abusers are going through the criminal justice system. And so what that really does is it gives us an opportunity to talk to the state attorney's office, the prosecutors. Obviously, we would need releases of information to speak specifically about clients and cases, but it's a great opportunity for our agencies to cooperate. And I think I saw at the beginning of the meeting that your next guest is going to be David Margulies, who's a prosecutor. He's great. I've spoken with him, worked with him on cases in the past, and he's going to give a great experience from the criminal justice side of things. So there are other agencies as well that participate in that sort of meeting. It's just kind of an opportunity to check in every now and then with several different agencies in the community to work together to tackle the objective we all have of facing domestic violence.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting how everyone's so connected. Like I worked with David Margulies, and he was amazing. So we're really excited to have him. But I think Gabrielle has their next question.
Yeah, hi. This again goes for any of you guys. How has this specific field of legal advocacy evolved over the past few years, you think, or like since you've been working there? Is there anything interesting that has changed as time has gone on? I would love to hear your thoughts about that.
I think the pandemic really pushed the field of legal advocacy into the modern era. If you know a little bit, the law is old, it's really archaic, and lots of times before the pandemic, appearing in court for Zoom or having a Zoom client meeting or signing documents electronically, all of those things that have kind of just like streamlined the process were unheard of just 4 years ago. So I think that that's the major change. There's also been a lot more involvement in the law or movement in the law to accommodate different people, equity, and then understanding that people also have just different concerns, where for the work that we do, for a long time, it did not consider pets in the injunctions, and pets are a very big part of people's families. And unfortunately, a lot of times people before had been left with the decision to choose between their safety for themselves or the safety of their animals. And I think that happened maybe 2 years ago, where the petitions have changed and the court will consider your animals as well, which is a big thing. It might not seem like it, but it's a huge thing.
Thank you.
Drew?
Hi, so I was wondering, since you're part of the injunction team, I would imagine that you frequently deal with law enforcement. So how does that relationship work? So I guess forming the relationship, but also like working with them to obviously like carry out the injunctions, and like what's the balance between the legal team and law enforcement?
Yeah, I'll say, like I did that earlier, we consider them an agency partner. So here in Alachua County, GPD and Alachua County Sheriff, they also participate in the domestic violence task force meetings. They're part of the criminal justice system along with the state attorney's office. So I would say 90+% of the time, we're sort of on the same side of the case, so to speak. Our clients are the victims in their cases, and the respondents in our cases, the people we're filing against, are the defendants in their cases. But that's not true every single time. Law enforcement, the officials responding to a scene of a domestic violence incident, they have to make independent determinations, and they are people, and sometimes they get things wrong. Sometimes our clients are defendants in criminal cases, and so we do have to sort of walk a fine line. We're not sharing notes with them all the time by default. That would be a breach of confidentiality anyway. But in cases where our interests are aligned, we do have that ability to obtain an informed release from the client, their consent to share information with law enforcement, with the state attorney's office, and achieve the ends that we're looking for, getting an injunction for our clients and also prosecuting the defendants, the related defendants in those cases, criminally.
Thank you.
I will also add to that. that a lot of the law enforcement agencies also have advocates, and they have advocates that respond to specific situations. So like they have advocates that will respond to sexual violence cases. They'll have advocates that respond to domestic violence, specifically to domestic violence cases. And a lot of our referrals actually come from the advocates versus law enforcement themselves. So part of our, working with the different agencies in town is just forming those relationships with the advocates, and so that they know what we do, so that they can refer clients to us. And then I would also say, in terms of law enforcement specifically, like Alex said, they're people. We all make mistakes. We might not agree with them. They might not agree with us. But one of the best things that you can do in terms of working with other agencies is education. So if they're willing to learn about domestic violence, if they're learning to learn about elder abuse or sexual violence, anybody can train, like they can be trained, and a lot of them want to know more. So a lot of it is just the knowledge that they may or may not have.
Awesome.
Definitely. And they're also the people who help enforce our injunctions and serve our injunctions. So they're a key and integral part in that way. And serving and enforcing those injunctions helps us, and our clients, but it also helps them, right? If they're serving those injunctions, they're aware of the situation, they can better assist and better serve the clients and the community at large if they know that these things are in place.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any last questions? I don't see any in the chat. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, then I think we're going to end the meeting now. Thank you so much to Alex, Brittany, and Laura for coming and sharing your stories. They're truly inspirational. I know they have been to me. I loved working with you guys at People Pass, and that's why I've tried to continue the involvement, and how we were involved with the Power of the Purse event last semester, and we're trying to do that again this upcoming semester and year. So thank you so much. I know you guys are so busy, and we appreciate it a lot. Laura, I hope you can catch the end of your daughter's gymnastic meet, but thank you so much for sharing.
And I just want to mention, if any of you guys all want to get together and just email me, Brittany and Alex, and you want to like come together as a group one day for like an hour, just come into the office and talk to us. We're totally open to that. We love, like Brittany said, that's one of the best parts of our day, is to tell people what we do. So we can schedule that if you guys are wanting to come in and ask for questions.
And I put my email in the chat if you do have some questions. If you think about something else beyond wanting to intern at Peaceful Paths, please email. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that that is the better part of my day. Young lawyers and future lawyers is a great thing to be involved in and help out. I wish someone had done that for me, so I've made it a point in my career to do that for other people. So please reach out.
Thank you. Yes, definitely reach out, guys.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Alex. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Laura and Brittany.